Hi guys, I'm Umair Nazim and welcome to Let's Code. In the previous videos, I showed you what is a switch case, how to make a calculator by using the switch case, and what are the conditional statements in Java. With this, we also covered some more topics in a very detail. But in today's video, I'm going to show you what is a JOptionPane in Java and how to use it and how to create the dialog box. Actually, JOptionPane is a dialog box that allows the user to give an input and to get an output in the form of a dialog box. So without wasting any time, let me show you. So to use JOptionPane in Java, the first thing you have to do is you have to import a library. So for this purpose, below this package, I have to import a library, and I will write here import. Here I will write, so sorry, with the lowercase, java x dot swing dot JOptionPane. Now one thing I want to make clear here, you have to write here the library name is java x dot swing dot JOptionPane. This J must be an uppercase letter, this O must be uppercase letter, and this P here must be an uppercase letter. Now within this main method, first of all, I'm going to show you how to display an output by using the JOptionPane. So for that reason, you have to write here JOptionPane. Now this J, again, it should be capital, I mean uppercase. This O must be an uppercase letter, and this P here this P must be an uppercase letter. After that, here I write JOptionPane, then I will use here dot. So as you can see that when I write here dot, you can see the different options here, but I have to write here show message. So when I write this message with an uppercase letter, as you can see that in the first option, it is show message dialog. Now what it means that JOptionPane.showmessagedialog. So we are saying to our system that it will display a message. It will display a message dialog. Now within these two parentheses, you can see the first value is default, and that is a null. Now what is a null? Actually, this first field null is a parent component in which the user will specify about his parent component. So for this example, you can write this one as it is, by default null. When we will deal with the advanced levels, then we will change here the values. And in the second field, you can write here, it is written argument. So here the user will give an argument. In other words, you can say that the user will display a message. The user will give the message here. So here I'm going to write my message, that is, for example, hello, I am Umair. So here I write my message. After that, after this message field, I have to use again comma, and again I have to use two quoted commas. So within these two quoted commas, now this is a third field, and here you have to display your title. So here I'm going to write my title name, that is my name, you can say. So here it is my name. Now this my name is a title of my message. Now again you will write here this comma, and now in the fourth field, here I have to display what type of information I entered. Now my information is related to a question. It can be related to a warning message. It can be related to, you can say that, to confirm something. It can be a plain message. So you have to write here. So for this reason, I'm going to write here JOptionPane dot. Now as you can see that when I press here this dot, so our system is showing different type of messages. So it can be a cancel option, it can be an error message, it can be an information message. Now it can be a question message, it can be a warning message related to this. But here I write here, hello, I am Umair. So you can say that it is neither it is related to a question, so neither it is related to a default. So here you can write this one a plain message. So it is a plain message. I will click this one, and now I'm going to run this, and you will see. Now when I run this one, as you can see that here this is the title, my name, and here is my message, hello, I am Umair. So here I will do this click. Now for example, if I'm going to change the information here, the message here, and I write here, what is your name? Now I write this one, what is your name? And now this information means that I'm asking a question from the user. Now this one is related to a question. Now here sorry, I removed the title. Here I will put again the title. So for the title, now I can do here, the title is for example name. So I can write here name, and here in the plain message, instead of plain message, so I can write here, now for this time I will select here question message, this one, and you will see the result. I'm going to execute this one. Now as you can see that my information, my message was related to a question. So I describe here JOptionPane dot question message. So here as you can see that now the icon is related to a question, and here you can see that here it is my title. Actually this field will change the icon according to our information, according to our message, you can say that. Now let me show you with a different thing. So for example, let's suppose you can say that your message is related to an error message. So I'm going to select here this one, error message. So you will see the result here. Now as you can see that now the icon is related to an error. Now let me comment this line, and now I will show you how to get an input and how to display that in the form of an output. So for this reason, one thing I want to clear that for this reason, to get an input of your own choice, you don't need to use the scanner class here. So without using the scanner class, we can write here JOptionPane.show. Now as you can see that when I write here .show, so you can see different kind of options here. I am going to select this option here, .show input dialog, with the component parent component object message, this option. So I write this one here. Now as you can see that the first argument is by default it is null. The first field is null, and here it is an argument. Now here again I will display a message to my user. So I can write here, please enter your name. So I'm going to write here, please enter your name, and after that I have to give here a title. Now the title is, for example, I can write here input. Here it is the title, and after that I have to display what type of information I entered. So that information is related to a question, so I can write here dot, so that is related to a question message. So I write this one here. After that I have to close this one with a semicolon. So now as you can see that this one is an input field. Now this field is an input. Here in this field the user will enter his answer, you can say. Now let me create, first of all, let me create a variable, and I will store that answer into a variable. So for this reason I will create here a string, and I will give a name. So this name is my variable, this name is my variable, and when user will give me an answer, in other words when user will enter the name, that name will be stored into this name variable. But one more thing I want to clear here, if you are dealing with JOptionPane, every time you have to enter your information as a string. You cannot enter your information as an integer. I mean that here I have written this one. As you can see, here I have written the data type that is string. So if I use here the data type as an integer, so you will see, so as you can see that here it is an error because JOptionPane allows the user to enter the values just as a string. So if you want to enter a value, for example, any number as an integer, so for that reason, I will show you how to convert an integer into a string. So, but for this example, let's change it again into a string. So I change it into a string, and here it is, enter your name. So after that, I will show this message as an output to the user. So for that reason, I'm going to write here JOptionPane dot show message dialog. Now for the first time I use show input dialog to get an input. Now to display an output I have to use this first show message dialog. Now this one first. Now as you can see that here the first is always a null. It is by default, and that is a parent content. And in the second, now this second is an argument in which user can give the message he want to display. Now actually we want to display the name of the user. So as you can see that here it is a variable name. So I will use directly this variable name here. So as you can see that our compiler is like sensible enough. So our compiler automatically put this name here. Now this name, as you can see. Now I will execute my program. And when the user will enter the name, for example, I'm going to write here Umair, my name. And as you can see now, this one is an output message. Now as you can see that here it is Umair, and here it is. Now for example, if instead of this one, if I'm going to write here, for example, your name is. Now this message, this string will be written as it is. But now I want to write here this name. I want to combine this entered name here. So I will use here your name is, then I will use here concatenation symbol. I will write here name. Now let me execute this one. So now for example the name is, you can say Emre, and as you can see that your name is Emre. Now let me show you also here. So for example, you want to display here a title. So for that reason you can write here simply the title here. The title is related to an output. You can write here output, and here what kind of information that is. For example, that is right here JOption, sorry, pane dot. Now this one is, now as you can see that we receive an output. So that output is not like a question, not like any other thing. So you can, for that reason you can write here a plain message. That is a plain message. Now you will see here, now I'm going to write here the name, that is Hamza Unal. So this name actually it is the name of one of my best friend, like a brother you can say. So that's why I write here Hamza Unal. So here your name is Hamza Unal, and let me show you how to give a space here. I simply give this space, and I'm going to write this name again. So as you can see that your name is Hamza Unal. Now let me change here also. Now this one. So it is the similar structure you have to do whenever you want to use JOptionPane. If you want to give an input, if you want to get an output, the same thing you have to write here. Now let me show you how can you change the data types. Now let me comment these two lines here. So these two lines I have commented. Now let me show you. For example, if you want to enter any number, so for that reason, again I have to use GOptionPane dot show message dialog. But now I have to write here show input dialog because the user will get an input. Show input. Sorry, I have to write here show. Now as you can see that this one, I can write this second one, show input dialog. Now the first one is null here in the argument. Now in the argument I'm going to write here, please enter your age. Enter your age. So here it is related to a question and I have to edit. Now here again I have to determine a title. Now one more thing I have to clear here. Actually, if you don't want to use the title or you don't want to display your related question type, what kind of information is this, I mean these two things, if you don't want, so it is not necessary. If you don't want, you don't need to write these things. You can write your message until this one. It is also enough, until this one. So but here I'm going to also write, I am going to display here the title that is related to, for example, an age, you can say, and my information is related to a question. JOptionPane dot. Now this one is related to a question. Now this one. Now here I have to determine the data type, that is an integer. Now here I will use this one as an integer, and I will write here, for example, it is an age. Now this age is my variable. Now as you can see that when I write this one as an integer here, the data type, and here as you can see it is giving us an error. So when I will move my cursor here, now it is written change type of age to a string. Now here I have to convert this string into an integer. So for that reason I'm going to write here this one, this parenthesis here, and I will write here integer dot parse. Now as you can see that when I write here integer dot parse, so as you can see the first option is this one. You will select this first option, and here now you have to write one more parenthesis here. Now as you can see that, now what it means, actually you can say that message JOptionPane.showmessagedialog, so that message is a string. This please enter your age, that message is a string. So now I convert this string into integer, so I write here integer dot parse integer. Now this statement will convert a string into an integer. So whenever you want to convert something from a string to an integer, you have to use this same structure, integer dot parse int. Now let me print this statement here. I will use, sorry, not here, right here, JOptionPane dot show message dialog. Now here I will use age. Now for this this time I will not declare any title or what kind of information I entered. Now I'm going to execute this one. Please enter your age. Now you can say the age is, for example, related to 55, you can say. Now when I will write here okay, now as you can see that here it is 55. Now here I show you how can you convert a string into an integer. Now one more thing, let me show you. If you want to convert an integer into a string, how can you convert an integer into a string? For example, here I'm going to write here a string that is a data type, so integer, so I have to give here space. Now it is a string. Now I'm going to write here, for example, number. Now if I write this thing here, for example 288, now I close this one with a semicolon. As you can see that here it is an error because change type of number to integer, because 288 is an integer, it is not a string. Now how can I convert this integer into a string? It's a very simple process. So you have to put this 288 within these two quoted commas. When you will put within these two quoted commas, now this thing is considered as a string. Now this thing, now as you can see that there is no error. So whatever thing you will put between two quoted commas, that thing will be considered as a string. Now as you can see that here this message, please enter your age, here this message, please enter your age, this message is written between the quoted commas, within the quoted commas. That's why it is a string, and that's why there is no message here. But when I display the data type here, an integer, then it was displaying an error message, because our compiler understands that the data type is an integer. Then why they are going to enter an integer? Because it is allowed to enter just string. That's why I convert my string here into an integer. Now this integer and this integer, these both are satisfied. Then you can easily enter your value. Now for example, let me do this one also comment. Let me do this line also comment. And now let me show you one more example. So for example, our message, if our message is related to an error, related to a virus, you can say. Now for that reason, you can write here JOptionPane.showmessagedialog. Now for the first one I have to write null, and now I have to write here as a string. I will write here, your computer has a virus. Now I display this message to my user, your computer has a virus, and here I'm going to write my title, that is virus. And now after that I have to describe the type of information, that is JOptionPane dot. Now as you can see that here it is a warning message, you can say that here it is information message, here it is an error message. So whatever you want, you can write here either warning message, either you can write here error message. But here I'm going to show a warning message. So now I have to end this one, this semicolon. And now as you can see that this virus symbol, this warning symbol is displayed here. So guys, that's it for today. If you like the video, subscribe my channel, write your comments, give your opinion and share it with your friends. See you in the next video with a new topic. Take care.